So he says we will get a vote, and obviously his view would be that it would pass. Rob Collins joins us now, head of infrastructure banking at Morgan Stanley, arguing infrastructure spending should be a lot bigger component and that it could be a great way to create jobs. So let's talk about it, Rob, because this bill that is about to pass surprised many in that it did not have that much infrastructure in it, at least the way it's currently structured. Caterpillar CEO Jim Owens said to me the other week that the amount of immediate impact we get from infrastructure in this bill is less than 5% of what we spent last year on construction. So are we really getting it wrong?
Well, there really is an opportunity to create jobs with infrastructure spending. What we know is for every $1 billion that's invested in infrastructure, about 35,000 jobs are created. And
now I have to say, I just want to interrupt you there because I've used that number myself. How do we get that number? Are you really confident in it?
It's a Department of Transportation number, and just the specific evidence, if we look at what Governor Mitch Daniels did in the state of Indiana when he executed a $3.8 billion deal on the Indiana toll road.
Yes.
Since that deal closed in June 2006, they've generated over 60,000 jobs in the state of Indiana. So it's really stimulated the economy.
By privatizing the toll roads.
There's been direct
doing that. How would that? Because the companies actually invested more than the government would have.
There's direct and indirect benefits, and so a lot of those jobs have been the acceleration of capital projects on the Indiana toll road. Just one quick example: before they ultimately executed that lease, the state of Indiana was paying toll collectors 30 cents a car to come through the toll booths. The problem was they were collecting 15 cents. So the taxpayers of Indiana were losing 15 cents.
They were subsidizing
exactly. And so the way to fix that is using private investment in infrastructure. And so now the toll booths now at certain stations still collect 15 cents, but it's economic because private investors have come in and created efficiencies, electronic tolling. They've created lane expansion for throughput.
All right, now those things make sense. A final question on this, though, and that is a lot of the companies that were investing in the infrastructure were not American. Quarry was a name that came to mind. There were some companies from Spain. I mean, is there American companies and American money that could do that investment?
Absolutely. We've identified at Morgan Stanley over $180 billion of private investment targeted at infrastructure. And even the companies, like you mentioned, have limited partners that are often pension funds and U.S. insurance companies that are limited partners in these funds. And so, in effect, union and labor are benefiting from these investments. Mayor Daley in Chicago on the other side of the aisle in the Democratic Party is getting ready to close Midway Airport, and he has the support of the Chicago Federation of Labor in support of that deal because they're protecting union jobs with that investment. It's a $2.5 billion deal.
Well, it's pretty nice to know that examples of how things don't just have to be all one country to be successful. We're all in this together. And thanks very much, Rob. We appreciate it. Rob also had some numbers that might fascinate some watching, especially down in Washington, that infrastructure jobs represent only 10% of the jobs created by the current stimulus package under consideration. Where the heck are the other 90% coming from? Up next, another first interview you'll see